There's a lot of talk about Muslim atrocities, Muslim extremist atrocities, but the Christian extremists are just as bad, if not worse. And I've been stabbed with a chest. I'm quite seriously have a heart disease, a heart problem now, get quite weak, and I probably will die. But nobody cares, but that's all right. And well, the police will have attacked me. These will just been sat and attacked me because I declared that I was. That's why I said I was atheist. That's what Muslims are. Suppression of Muslims, and so she attacked me. They do it to protect their delusion, unfortunately. And they want to attack. Well, obviously these violent people in Iraq are not very nice people, and that's not violent to do that. But when you see your friends killed by Christians in large numbers, it is not nice. And war is war. Well, there's no just war really. It's how it gets done. And the Christians start wars. The First World War was an argument between a disagreement, two cousins about Stone Golf. Uncle Bertie and Uncle George had a Barney about toss of golf, and that was the First World War. I was taught that as a child, so it gives you some idea who I was. And that's what it was. It was just a row between two cousins, and they threw everything they're good at it, and that's the problem. With all organised societies that can happen, not just kingdoms, but dictatorships and presidents will do that, because the president is around with somebody, makes him fight, and therefore he's fighting. So he gets his army out. That's the trouble. So millions of dice at once. But there's the problems. And I'm like freaking ill, but I'm probably dying, you know. I've got to put poison in, and quite ill now. And I was a week, but I think my wife is probably dead too. And I've not heard from her. The phone doesn't respond. It's switched off. So it was on and not ringing. That was off. So she could have died. Could have been found dead. And not much I can do about it. That's a sad world. So I'll be dying too soon. That's what Christians do. They're murderers, liars, and frauds. The whole of their religion is a lie. And they look nice. They talk magnificently. And this society in Britain is actually quite nice here. It's quite a pleasant place to live, and you know, food and stuff. But it's all based on slavery. Well, not exactly slaves, paid slaves, but already some of them paid. Some paid more than others. And you have to work for an hour. The ordinary bloke cannot be employed. It's pretty bad, although they do. I mean, the foreigners do, so it's can be very difficult. And I don't like it because it doesn't. The system they have here is to a wealthy country, but it's not very nice, really. The tax on every side. It's not very nice. And I need to get in my house. It's not secure. I can't afford to secure it. Maybe if I did, I'd get in. So that was fun. I don't understand why machine gun Christians, because they're such devils. But when you become a Christian, it's actually quite nice. But you find there's a hierarchy, and you can't do anything about it. There were several severe guys. We had a man called Severus who was severe. And he was so severe he didn't wreck the Roman Empire. And when that eased off, things got better. So that sort of stuff doesn't work. And if it does do anything to shooting war with the Muslims, which I don't go to the mosques, but because I'm an agnostic Christian, that means I'm a Muslim basically. And you know, there's no mortality, it's all a lie. Been lying for years. Christians tell lies. They say it makes life more pleasant, more livable. But when it's all based on lies, there's not much point in it. But it's a sad world. My friends have died. I've made friends and they've disappeared. I don't know where they are. We're dead. I've seen as a psychiatrist murder people. or heavily tranquilized and so virtually dead. That's about it. When I was last time I was in the asylum, which was put there because I'm not quite sure where I put myself there actually because I was under attack. And it was a safe place. The man who attacked me snuffed me again, he didn't kill me this time. But no, he's been charged with murdering somebody else or something. But if I die, I'd be no murder. That's what criminals and Christians are. They're as bad as the Muslims, really. The Muslims are not usually like that. There's a reason face, but when you come under attack, you're right to defend yourself. They get your friends to help you. That's the trouble. Man, it does organise himself like that. And they talk about the Archbishop of Canterbury, whatever it was, the bishops or something about attacking the Muslims. That's true. It says extremists, but I mean all Muslims. Because there's no truth to the Christian religion. They know that. It's all a lie. They know. They talk about going to heaven, you know, and a sick one. And we just not clever enough to cope with it, basically. I've been ill now, I feel die. Well, I feel like because my heart's giving out, so I'll have a rest and get better. They're already poisoning me. They poisoned me in hospital in Budapest, you know. And I only just survived. I was terrible angina. I don't know what, pretty my heart was dying. But I couldn't walk. And so we hurried to catch the plane, and of course, made it worse. But so I went out. They could have given me tablets, so they took them off me. They gave me an iron, which is no good. They poisoned me. But that's how bad it is. So that's what they do in these courthouses because you have no money, they poison you. But it's because they make you stop having money, and I have no money, otherwise I could have been released. They're silly. I told them that's what happened. They don't care. They don't take advice from me. I don't know who stopped my money, but they thought they stopped my money because they thought I'd be looked after by the hospital. The hospital can't afford to look after me, so they would poison me. They don't care. So it doesn't work. Might have been in England that one applied, but in Hungary they don't support poor people. They die in the street or in hospital. And if they don't die straight away, they question the stuff. The food's awful. So it's the Nazis like Hungary's a Nazi country, and that's worth the Britain. The first were attacked by Christians. I thought so. They were Catholics or something like that. Well, Catholics kill people too. Pope believes in capitalism now. Everyone's own street. He's a Pope Nazi as well. Could be. The Nazis killed the Jews, or whether they killed the Catholic Church. And I don't accept it. That's what they are. And there's plenty of publicity about church in recent times murdering hundreds of people for religious reasons. And that's what they do. Of course, they do it by certificates now with poisons that make it look like you're not being killed. When I was trying to catch the attack, they must have given me this poison just before I left, you know. I know they gave it to me. That's what they are. You're supposed to stop from running away, but if it poisons you, you can't walk, so you can't run, you can't even walk, so you die. You run, you die. If you have to walk to a plane, it's difficult. You've got quite a long way to the port of the airfield where the plane takes off. You've got to climb steps, so it's actually quite dangerous. And it would kill me if I rushed around. I don't know who poisoned me, but somebody did. We don't know who it was. Because poison is difficult to detect. You can detect the poison itself, but not who gave it to you. Because they might poison me because I was, I was who I was. Which I won't matter what I do with it. I know I can walk, I can still walk down the road slowly, but you know, I can hardly walk. You know, once we catch the plane, because they want, you know, I want a wheelchair. We have a wheelchair. It's too narrow. That's understandable. Because you're a healthy man, you just walk quickly. So I couldn't walk, so sick I couldn't walk. I think it's called enclampsia, which is it's a combination of drugs that cause pain. It causes this problem with the heart. Well, it was That's what devils are, killing people. And they say that possibly it makes people turn to God and so on with death, but it doesn't, it kills you. And Christians are the devil incarnate, basically. One day they're fighting their head, I don't know whether they believe what they believe in, but it's money really they're after. I know Islam has no purpose because you read Islam so you die, and we live until we die. And of course life is bad when you get old and you have children after yourself. Christians have stopped being married and they stopped doing all the things. That's what Christians are, horrible people. And they're fighting, these Christians are now fighting people in their countries who try to establish Islam because Christianity is false. I don't think they're accused for killing them because they don't convert, they don't reason, they can't. Don't give notice to them, their beliefs are true. They've been taught by the bishop as their children, so we can't about it. We don't lecture them if they don't take any notice or even do it. I don't think killing them is the right thing to do. It's very difficult because in wartime, you take prisoners, you try to convert them and educate them. But in wartime, sometimes you can't do that because keeping prisoners is expensive. But feed them and look after them and so on. So shooting is cheaper. That's probably what these Islamic extremists are doing. To them as prisoners. And since they were different religion as such. But well, this people in Kurdish Iraq were taking support from Christians, well, that make them vulnerable to Christian attack. Because America is really a Christian country, but when you go there, it's quite a lot of Americans are not Christians, and well, don't have anything to do with religion. Because they believe similar things to the Muslims, they're mostly Muslims, because they never face trouble with the possibility of aliens with me, the possibility of Jesus and so on. There's a possibility. If I go to the hospital, it would be killed me, so much fun. They don't care, you see. I mean, obviously they would get rid of me. Cripple me to get rid of me. So maybe I'm being attacked again during the night. That's possible. Because I do sleep. Could be attacked again. I do lock the door, but then get through it. And it's expensive. A lock that would protect me is quite expensive. Probably they weaken the door in some way they can get that out. So I'm using themselves that out. But they're fighting their end, I understand it, but their end is false. It's not true. They're not fighting for true causes. They're fighting to protect their delusions. That's what they're doing. And killing me to preserve their life. I'm not attacking them. So what I'm saying is that one day they come, they will die. Well, that's going to happen. Come to me sooner than them. Kill an old man, don't listen to him. Out of date. Now I've demonstrated a neutron burst from my transfuser. That upsets them because it means that something that happened before the Second World War could Tesla was murdered over it because he didn't understand it. Nobody did because nobody knew about neutron. They knew what neutron radiation was, but not neutrons. This is a new idea. Mr. Carr said it could be radiation. And the other thing I didn't know about was fusion. So they thought matters could be converted into energy. Well, they knew about Einstein, and he produced this theory, which that part of it is correct. And that's converted to energy, capable of turning into energy. But they thought they were doing it. And until they knew about fusion. Now it's possible at high pressures, more massively converted than is normally by fusion. I mean, it becomes a black hole which breaks down matter, and matter will be converted into energy. And it's quite powerful. So you wouldn't need very much matter. It's possible some of these reactors they built did that. And because they didn't know what it was. Of course, it's extremely dangerous. And people didn't know. So that's understandable their suspicions of them. But killing people is up. I don't like scientists either. Especially nuclear scientists, because nuclear scientists make people ill. They made the atom bomb. Well, I made the atom bomb. I didn't like it. I had no choice. So maybe we should get rid of atom bombs, but unfortunately, most man's invented something he gives them. I think all metal rooms should be dismantled quite eventually. The electric ignited one, which most of us have, and well, the British have it as well now, because we'll copy each other. So, I know whether there wasn't going to use it or not. We might do. But killing is just wrong. Warfare is wrong, according to the original we have. But when people try to kill you, you try to kill them back before they do so. It's not nice. Warfare is horrible. And I don't like it either. And they will eventually kill me if that's what they want to do. So I can't think about it. They sing hymns, you know. Quite, I don't know what hymns are about, I can't remember. It's just praise for this person. And they talk very fiercely at the front. But I can't hear it, so I can't tell you how it. It's never nice going to church. It's always boring. They do some things and march about with flags and things, and over crosses or sometimes. And to them it's important. Symbolism is important in the church. The symbols mean something and something else. So it is awful. And it's a tragedy of being human. I think I told you before, it's a tragedy of being wise and understanding. That's what I say. And the rest of my life, I haven't seen her from her since, I can't remember what it was now, it was Sunday, no, it's Friday. And, well, she won't starve to death at that time. I can't send her much on Monday. I still can't send her very much because they're not giving me very much. They cut my pay. Because I'm in debt, they still got to pay my debts first. That's right, they pay debts. Well, they're giving me enough to live on, but just a bit more than enough to live on, and I need, I think I'm getting especially welfare gives you Social Security. And so they have to get their compelled to give, they have the other income I have to pay for debts. And that's nice. So I shouldn't have gone down, but I'm glad I did because I found out what was going on. A disaster, it really was. I can't blame the Hungarians on the US heart disease, but they could have reduced it. And of course, eating wrong food doesn't help, but being stabbed doesn't help either. And it comes to us all. I don't know when. I had to phone Miss this morning. Well, if you call an ambulance, they push the hospital, and they probably won't come out. So I won't do that. I take drugs. I take this DTN spray, which reduces the blood pressure and protects the heart. Right under the tongue. And that I put to reduces blood pressure and it reduces angina. But I take it in tablets. I did have that in the hospital in Hungary, but they wouldn't give it to me. They took those things away from me with my own drugs. Well, they put a patch of DTN on my chest. So it was all heart treatment. I think they gave me a man's opinion, which didn't really do me any good. It was probably caused heart problems as well. And I made friends with people there. I haven't heard from any of them, not one. And one person who's left this sick house or death house is alive and went outside. So he sent me an email trying to. He probably won't again, but he's busy. Got his job to do. I think a software writer. Those are the new industries, and I'm not new those. I've using very old ideas. This transfusion is an old idea. I'm probably years out of date. And they're talking about thorium fusion. Well, pretty good. But it's hot fusion. Mine is cold fusion. It works because of the pressure of the transformer. Bursting pressure pushes the hydrogen together. It's not heat. It's some heat, but not very much. So it's different. When I measured the temperature of the plasma with infrared thermometer on previous experiments, it was -1 degree centigrade. So therefore, yesterday, the ambient was 24 to 23 degrees, something like that. It's from, but that's what it was. And so it was like at that time. I think the coil was red hot. but the gas was -1. But of course the gas wasn't. The gas was absorbing energy from the electric current, and it did transform into helium. It's transmuted to helium, but there was only the burst of energy was very small because the pressure was very low. So it was only a few microwatts, so it's not very much. And so it wasn't producing any power. I'm going to try it with 3 torr, 5 torr. 5 tried it with 3 torr was successful, didn't produce power. So 5 torr is about right. Up to 10 torr, so it's between 5 and 10 torr with the pressure, and that should work. And I'm thinking, of course, when you experiment with tubes you manufacture, it gets more expensive. Using a vacuum pump is cheaper because you get the right pressure. But estimated 5 torr. My pressure I can get between 10 and 20 torr. It goes down to about 10 torr. And so that's really, that's not a maximum power. I don't know. There's a balance between the electrification of the gas and the power produced. It's balanced. So there's more pressure, more power. But with more pressure, it makes it more difficult to ionize and turn into plasma. It can be done, actually, but there's a lot of power down the capacity parts. Can't do that. When I did this test, the pulse neutrons only occurred at low pressure, about between 10 and 20 torr. I can't read the dial from here, it's difficult. But can't get it. So yeah, I've got to get a dial which is expanded at a lower range. You can get vacuum tubes, vacuum dials, or rather pressure dials that go down to read to 5 torr. But this one doesn't. This reads, I think the lowest division is 10 22. So it's half a division. I can't see that. But that doesn't go down as far as that. I think if I put I've got a diaphragm, a series of diaphragm pumps as the vacuum pump. Another 3 will probably bring it down. And I might try that before I buy the tubes from America. The vacuum pumps are quite cheap. But I've got so many things to buy, I can't buy any of it. So I've got to prioritise and get one with one the next week. Now I cut down my income, so it makes it even more difficult. I don't think that's the risk because I'm in debt. I'm in debt to the company looking after me. They're strict about that. I don't know, I think it's I've got to pay for another week and then I've paid my airfares, you see. 3 airfares to pay. What's it for? Because mine is a forgery, so that's 3 airfares to pay. I don't know how much they were. I'll pay those off first. And then it's possible I'll be within credit. Because the other debts can be spread out. I've got a credit card debt. That's all credit card. I've also got to pay a debt on my other card, which is which charges well no interest. I'll probably ring me, I'll put my number back now. And now in Microsoft account stopped me living at a restaurant in Budapest. I may have registered that, but I don't think I did. It's just the systems realised I was recording for a Hungarian computer and put me down as living in Budapest, which I wasn't. I was actually in provinces. But I'm back now, and I can't order it, but I'll try online. It should actually recognise I'm somewhere else now. I should see it. But I don't know how that happened. And that's from I don't know much else. I'd like to restore the backups from my phone backups now. I think you can do it from Microsoft Live account. I think they're stored there. But it would help I was in the fight. Very little fun, I think. Microsoft is a clever company that's very complicated. And when you get to 71 it gets a bit difficult. You go anywhere else it costs money. And they don't know anyway. They might do. Somebody will, but when they know they just do it and they charge you. Anyway, it's reasonable. So gone with actually back up and restore some of my phone. I backed it up several times because I was under attack. And I didn't know what to do, so I'm going to it was 70 now, so I'm going to get those backups back. Only 3 I had to get back. I was doing conservatively so I can restore the previous addresses I had on them. Not lose them. Oh well. A bit of garbage. Not having achieved anything today. This power supply is now a battery. It's a 12-volt battery made of 2 lantern cells. And they're actually what we call D size cells. For us, there's 8 D cells, and switch off. When it comes, it's very stable, you see. And that's what the pulse rate, the switch on power supplies, no good at all. And the mains ones have got swivel on them, so they're no good. You've got pulses on them, or mains ruffle, so you've got to have those out. Stability is rare, but you can have you can buy stabilized power supplies, but they're very expensive. Batteries are cheaper. Since there's hardly any drain, it lasts a long time.